Hello and welcome to the Clock and Talk, an Arsenal podcast. I'm your host Tej. Get me at Gunnar Tej. Get the show at the Clock and Talk. Here we are once again. We had the international break. We had a couple of weeks off, and it was actually really good, really refreshing. But Tony, how are you, buddy? We got you in.
Yeah, yeah. I'm all good, thanks. Can't complain.
That international break is boring as batshit, isn't it? Like, I just,
Yeah,
I tried,
yeah. I
I
mean,
tried. I,
I mean, it's
yeah.
it's also difficult. Like, as an England fan, it's really tough because obviously we're like obviously the best in the world, so we're playing minnows who are just worse than us.
Oh,
And
for fuck's
like,
sake.
no, but I mean, in obviously, in all seriousness, our two games on aggregate were 15-0. Like,
Yeah, I
who
know. Yeah.
cares? Like, do you know what I mean? The reason we enjoy tournaments and stuff so much is because the games are competitive. But I don't need to see a team win 10-0. Like, yeah, it was nice to see Smith Rowe get his debut, and obviously that him and Saka both got a goal. But really, who cares? Like,
It is. It is. It's like that. I was look. I was very interested with the Socceroos, obviously, because we aren't that good, and the teams we played and things. I'm like, oh shit. I think it was China and was it Saudi Arabia? Maybe I think. But yeah, I tried to tune in and I just, for me, I don't get the form. I don't understand it. Like, and that's I think what is my problem is. I'm like, so if we lose, are we in? I don't understand. Somehow we still get there. So I don't know. I can't fucking follow it, man. And I can't really follow this new format of it all too. So which is confusing. I get where they're coming from. I think it's better, but yeah, I don't understand it a little bit. So and it's boring. Like I like having to play for something. just 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 put us all in the fucking World Cup and we'll go for it. Um,
you have to
uh,
qualify for that, mate.
yeah, I know. Arsene Wenger, he come out and said in the international break that he wants the World Cup in 2 years. Are you for or against?
He's been banging on about that for ages. It's not a recent thing. I'm against it. Just because the Euros is so big. I mean, we obviously saw this summer that how big the Euros is. I mean, I don't know what it was like, the coverage and whatnot in Australia, but I know you obviously saw some of it because
Yeah,
we
yeah,
spoke
yeah,
about it. So it's such a
yeah.
big tournament, not just in Europe but globally, and you're either talking about scrapping that or having that basically every other year. And we always moan about player burnout because they've not had any summers off, and that would add to it. And then you've got to think of other regional tournaments like the African Cup of Nations and
Oh yeah,
whatever
yeah. That's coming
your
up.
guys' version of that is. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
if the World Cup, so had the World Cup not been moved this time, we would have had African Cup of Nations January and the World Cup in May or June. And you're like,
yeah,
these players ever get a rest? Like, it's just
yeah, yeah.
it's
I'm
silly.
hearing you.
So
Yeah.
I mean, basically, all it comes down to, and I've mentioned this before, is FIFA don't really make any money off club football. So they're just trying to increase ways to find ways, sorry, to increase their revenue. And one of them, they were involved with the Super League, but behind closed doors. And then
Yep.
this is another idea because they make tons of money in the World Cup, but it's once every 4 years, and then they basically just sit on their hands for 4 years and then make tons of money again. So they're just looking
Mm.
at ways of doing that. But I don't think there's too many people that are for it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's. I am split because obviously the Euros is a great tournament, but I do love a World Cup as well. So I do see arguments on both sides. That's where I was saying I was getting a bit confused because I was looking at the Socceroos, for example, and it's the Asian Champions fucking thing or something like that. We won it. Like that's how much interest I have in it. It's pretty sad. I am trying to get interested in it, but fuck me. Um, I think the Saudi Arabia game was to qualify for that, and I don't know if it was a typo or not. And then I'm like, the second game against China was for the World Cup, so that's where I said I was a little bit confused on that. But as for every 2 years, I can't. I do like it. However, I did have a look at Qatar, and the timing zone is not real good for us over here. So, what are you guys? Have you ever looked at it? The times, what time you'll be watching it?
No, I want to go, so I'm planning to
Oh,
spend
okay.
some time there. I've not, I actually did look into flights and stuff, but oh, actually they'll be available now. So in general, you can only really book flights a year in advance. And when I looked,
Yep.
it was like a year and a few days, so there wasn't even prices, but they should be up now. I probably
Yeah.
won't be able
Okay.
to book my flight back, but at least I'd get an idea of sort of what I'm looking at. But no, t the time's not too bad in I don't know about Qatar, but it's I don't know exactly what it is. I mean, but it's not too bad. I had a friend living
Not too
there
bad.
who I used to do
Yeah.
some betting stuff with, and it wasn't like completely different time zones.
Okay. Um, Manchester United, they sacked the manager, and I am literally stalling. I don't want to talk about this game, so we will get to the Liverpool game. But Ollie's gone. Um, I just want to touch base with you because I haven't really spoke to you. So, are you obviously good move for them?
Yeah, I mean, it happened. It had to happen. Sorry. Good
Mm.
move for them, bad move for everyone else. I've always said I don't really think Ollie's even a manager. He's a bit of a likable guy, and he had no tactics. They had good players that got him out of trouble, but you can't build a team around that.
Look, I am gonna. I was listening to a bit of Talk Sport. Might have been yesterday, I think, and I have to agree. There was a couple of panelists there talking about it. The interview that he had after it, and I have to agree that was fucking bizarre. Like Frank Lampard, he left Chelsea, and see you later. Thanks, Frankie. Like, good luck with your future. Man United just seemed to drag poor old Ollie round the media circles, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know if it was news over there for you, mate, but it definitely made news over here.
I didn't watch it. I saw everyone banging on about it, but I didn't really care. Like to be fair, I've got
Mm.
a few mates that are Man United fans, and the moment he got sacked, one of them said, "I'm glad because now he can go back to being a legend rather than this idiot we all hate or want out of our club." So I
Yeah,
think the interview was basically going down that path.
fucking terrible, absolutely terrible. But yeah, I just couldn't work it out. I like, the bloke's just been sacked, and you want to drag him through the fucking more pain of, oh yeah, we did this, and I did this wrong. Like the bloke obviously did something wrong because you lost to Watford and
Yeah, but that would have
yeah,
been
everywhere
that
else.
interview would have been that interview would have been his decision.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's crazy. Okay, well, let's get on to this Liverpool game. And I was fucking stalling, mate. I honestly don't want to talk about it. However, look, it's not. I'm a little bit split, okay? I know we got battered 4 nil. Those who haven't watched the game, probably do yourself a favour because I don't. I don't feel as though I feel as though it could have been definitely a changed game. The first 30 minutes we had our chances. However, they had lots of chances. Ramsdale was absolutely magnificent, even though he got four against him. If you watch the game, you'd understand that it really wasn't. I didn't think many were his fault, but we will touch on them goals. Tony, give us your lineup thoughts, and then give us your first 30 minutes.
I mean, in terms of the lineup, there was only one decision to be made, and that was who played at left back. I said the whole time I would have gone KT, but that doesn't mean Nuno was the wrong decision. That would have just been my personal preference, especially when you're thinking dealing with Salah. You need someone who's a bit more defensively aware and probably a bit tougher when you're going to somewhere like Anfield. But for me, that wouldn't have been a mistake either way, no matter what one he chose.
Mm,
And it made sense sticking with Nuno. Um, as I said, it's not what I would have done, but I'm definitely not saying that was a mistake.
mm,
In terms of the game, I thought we started pretty well. It was like I think the first 10 minutes they were on top. Then we had a 10 minute spell without sort of creating anything massive, but we were arguably the better team. And then the next 10 were pretty even. Yeah, it looked like we could sort of match them up until that point. I think they had one or two one or two chances. And as I said,
Yep.
we didn't really. We had so the thing that's annoying about this game is we had quite a lot of situations that we didn't make anything of. And
Yep.
again, regular listeners will know I'm a big fan of situations because they lead something. I would rather have. I know it's unquantifiable, but I would rather have three or four decent situations than two shots on target when they've been from 30 yards out and the keeper's had time to walk across, picked it
Yeah.
up, not
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
sort of looking. And that was the issue with us. While even the times where he was like a little bit on top of the game, we created situations, but we didn't make any use of them situations. So it kind of made that spell not seem as sort of dominant as it was. But yeah, the first half hour I was pretty happy.
Yeah, look, and that's why I went the first half an hour because we were I was very surprised. I'm sitting there watching and I'm thinking, oh, okay, look, this might be okay, but obviously then the floodgates opened up and the first goal did come in the 39th minute with Mane assisted by Alexander Arnold. Um, he's just great. Old Alexander, or young, I should say, Alexander Arnold. Like he is unbelievable at crossing them balls, off set plays and things like that. It's just classic Liverpool, isn't it?
Well, it was the biggest danger of the first, say, 35 minutes or so is that no matter when we were sort of a bit on top or the game was even or when they was on top, but it wasn't like massively, we kept
Mm.
giving away either corners or wide set pieces. And you can't just keep giving them away against Liverpool. I mean, and to be fair, Simicas's delivery is useful as well. Obviously, it's not Trent's, but
Yeah.
the guy can deliver a ball as well. And you kind of always had the feeling that if we keep doing this, we keep giving these away, one of them is going to cost us. And it
Mm.
did. And to be fair, you just praised Ramsdale before the start of the game, and he was our best player by an absolute mile. But I think he could have done better with the first goal. I'm not saying it was a mistake, but
Yep.
I think he basically said the same thing, that it was hard. The ball was headed down from close range onto a wet pitch. But
Mm.
I, I think he could have done better. But it's not like
Yeah.
a what the fuck were you doing?
Yeah. Look, I was, we always, look back at the goals and positioning of players, things like that, because we're talking to people here about the game, and so I try and have a little bit of a closer look, and mate, Mane is so hard to mark. Like the guy is just so fast, so quick, and off the mark. He just yeah. MAA Gunner just said, Mane left Gabriel, and do I blame Gabriel? Well, or do I just say Mane is a great player? Do I look at Ramsdale and say, well, maybe, yeah, like you said, but for me, mate, it was just a well executed goal. A well executed goal with some
Well,
good,
it's
great
to
players.
be fair, Mane's got a free header, and that should never happen. I
Yeah,
doubt, and look, we will never know watching as fans. I doubt, even though Mane is good in the air, when they've got Matic and Van Dijk up, and Gabriel is probably our best in the air. You
yeah,
could argue Tommy
yeah, yeah,
Asu, but it's them. I doubt it was Mane was his man, or if we was fully zonal, then that back post definitely wouldn't have been Gabriel's zone.
mm,
But I don't know who was meant to have him. It was too easy. As I said, the ball's great, but Mane is basically uncontested free header from what 8 yards out, give or take. So it's not very good defending. But I don't know what individual I'd put that name on,
yeah.
because I said logic tells you that Mane wouldn't be Gabriel's man if it was man for man, and Gabriel wouldn't be on the zone of the back post if we were doing zone. So it,
Mm-hmm.
it's a difficult one.
Makes it hard. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Where are we at? Going to half time. There was a couple of shots. I think there was there was. I don't know if it was earlier actually. Clear offside. For the Arsenal goal that was. I'm not even going to really talk about that.
I've not seen it
I
back, I was
haven't you?
down the other end, and no. So I
Yeah,
mean, it was obvious the way the players acted. It was offside,
yeah,
but it was obviously so far offside that it wasn't even shown in like the highlights packages.
yeah.
And
Okay, yep.
they don't have a screen at Anfield, but you could tell by the way the players like acted that,
Oh
that
yeah,
it was
yeah,
it was clearly offside.
yeah. He at the first, when the goal kind of Oh well, you probably don't. But when Lacazette went, oh fuck it, I'm going to put in the goal anyway. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, hang on, who's offside? And then I'm watching the replay back, and I'm like, oh, Lacazette's not off. Hang on, what's going on here? And it wasn't until then, obviously, I seen where Aubameyang's positioning was, and yeah, he was well and truly offside. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it goes in half time.
Just quickly, sorry. MAA
Yep.
said Mane was in between Gabriel and Nuno. So we always invert fullbacks onto the back post, so the deepest man. So if
Oh, yep.
that probably suggests that Mane would have been Nuno's man because he was the furthest outside. So we always put our left back as our furthest right player and vice versa for set pieces. We actually
Yep.
got caught another time in the game where we'd done that for a set piece and it took them ages to swap back over because the ball didn't go out. And then we kind of cleared it and one went to swap. I can't remember what way round it was. So Tommy went to swap to come back and Nuno didn't. And then it left
Mm,
us with no left back and Ed had quite a decent attack from it. I can't remember exactly what happened. But yeah, we've done that forever. I don't. A lot of teams do it. I don't really understand why. But yeah, so that would suggest that Mane was Nuno's man.
yeah.
But having not forensically studied it back, I'm not going to say definitely.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's right. No, all good. Second goal, 50 cents. Just remind me what was. Oh, that fucking stupid pass back or something in the middle?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fuck. That was. So look, you could say suicidal football. I'm going to say amateur. How does a player do that? I can't even. I watched that back a couple of times. I'm thinking, I can't even think where he was trying to pass it back to, or who
The
he was.
the only thing I can think is he just didn't see Yotta. But I mean, it started off before that.
Yeah.
So they started off the second half quite well, and Sambi just kept giving the ball away. I thought he was quite good in the first half, and then he had 5 minutes at the start of the second half where I think he gave the ball away eight times, and
Mm,
obviously he got dragged off. But Nuno weren't far behind. Nuno just was awful in every aspect of the game.
yeah.
Even that he actually he done well to not get too tight to Trent, got the ball, and then there was a simple pass on to Smith Rowe. He took it inside, and then there was still a simple-ish pass on to Smith Rowe, but then obviously tried to play it back in. I said I don't think he's seen Yotta, and I mean Yotta's done really well. It's a really bad mistake, but Yotta's finished it really well. But yeah, I mean it just went from bad to worse for Nuno. I think after that, basically everything he done went wrong, and to be honest, I can't believe he played the 90 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, hadn't even thought of that, but yeah, good point. I couldn't work that out myself. Now thinking of it, like, but you know what? I was more thinking at the end of the game. Well, I've just watched a player who over the last few weeks has played himself into that starting position to now play himself out of it, and I just there is no case for him. Like yeah, so poor, so poor. I don't know, but yeah, bad day at the office. Yeah, very bad fucking day. But Jesus, mate, yeah.
Do you know? Do you know what's annoying? Like when you line up there, you think, "Oh, it's the hardest position. It's probably the hardest job in the league at the moment to be a left back when Salah's the right winger."
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
but that wasn't the part of the game he struggled with. That's what's annoying. Like, do you know what I mean? If Salah goes and beats him all ends up for pace or outstrengths him or twists and turns him inside out, you go, you know what? That's happening to everyone this season.
yeah,
Like, it is what it is. But that wasn't the area where he was bad. He was bad at pretty much everything else. And it was, yeah, it's just annoying. But as you said, yeah, I think he's probably played himself out now. And I think we'll see KT coming back in.
yeah. We will. I think. Yeah. It's. I actually feel sorry for him. Okay, I know they're professional footballers, but you know he's a young bloke who not many of us knew much about him. You know, so he, and then when we did see him, we're like, oh sweet, this kid's good. Like he's gonna give KT a bit of a run for his money. You know, it's great. We got actually some two decent players there, which is really good. But so You know what I mean? I don't want to talk him up. Maybe we just talked him up a little bit too much. I don't know. I didn't, but I don't know. I'm not saying us, but I mean, like, I know a lot of people did really talk him up. And now I feel sorry for the kid a little bit because he's now got a huge weight on his shoulders. And I just hope that he doesn't get into that mental place where, oh fuck, I'm now the most hated bloke in the fucking club or something. So I hope he gets past this bad game and moves forward and just takes it as a learning curve.
Yeah, he'll be all
Easy.
right. He seems pretty strong mentally, and as I said, the stuff he got wrong was basic stuff. He could have got it wrong against anyone. It just happened to be
Yeah.
on the big stage, and he got punished for it. But as I said, I thought basically I thought after the second goal, but then any time after that, with the amount of mistakes he's making, it was a tough one because you could see at 2-0 we were still half trying to get back in the game. But I think the right decision probably would have been to take him out of the firing line because
Mm.
I don't know if that got to him because after that it was just a mistake. Even just simple things, nothing like that you're going to write home about or even individual moments that I can remember, but it was just constant mistake after mistake after mistake. And yeah, for me, as I said, he'd have been dragged out. Like the same thing they done for Sambi. So Sambi made a few mistakes,
Yeah.
and we took him out to get him at the firing line.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
weird. We think of, oh yeah, Sambi's this young kid. We need to protect him, but I'm not sure who's older. They're give or take the same age, and Sambi costs
Yeah.
more. But we don't think that same way of Nuno that we've got to protect him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
True.
yeah, it's a difficult one.
Yeah, I was going to touch on a couple of these subs now because we're 2-0. Well, Liverpool are 2-0 up on us. We're thinking to ourselves, fuck, we've got to try and come back, but we don't want to leave ourselves too open. Maitland Niles comes into the mix. Sambi does go off, and Odegaard comes into the mix. Lacazette goes off. We're seeing some changes, but yeah, what's your thoughts around the two subs?
Well, as I said, there was nothing wrong with the Sambi sub. He wanted to protect him after having a pretty much a horror show of 5 minutes. I think we'd earned their respect in the first half, where they basically stopped pressing us because we was playing around it so well, and
Mm.
then they got a bit of confidence and started pressing really strong for the first sort of 5 minutes of the second half, and Sambi crumbled a little bit. So yeah, get him out of the firing line, no issue. And then the Odegaard sub is it's the same old shit. Like, Lacazette can't play 90 minutes, so it was always going to happen. And
You
it
know,
kind of made sense as well
yeah,
because we didn't get him in the game, so try and get someone to get the foot on the ball more and try and grab a bit more control. It didn't work out like that, but you can see the thinking. But look, could Lacazette have done another 10, 15 minutes? Probably, but was he having a huge impact on the game? Saying that, just before he went off, he played a really good ball to Aubameyang. But
mm,
yeah, I mean, that's probably
he's
all you
fucking
could say
mate. Yeah,
about the 60 minutes or however many minutes he played.
yeah. Look, that didn't bother me at all. I'll be honest, right? And whether I will admit this, but I'm going to. I'm actually looking at this. I'm thinking we're 2-0 down. Sambi, I'm seeing a bit of weakness there, okay? I'm thinking to myself, we need to do something to stop this massive fucking counter-attacking football. Liverpool have the speed and everything else, right? That they're just outclassed us, a better team. And I'm looking at fucking El Neni on the bench, and I'm thinking to myself, that's where I would have kind of. I'm not saying it would have saved the day, or I'm not saying El Neni's the hero, but you know what you're going to get for an El Neni. You know you're going to get, okay, he's going to be a bit defensive minded. He's going to hold up play. He's going to pass the ball, back and sideways and maybe slow things down a little bit. And nothing against Maitland Niles, but that's where my head was kind of thinking. So I don't know if you agree with that or not, but yeah.
No, I 100% would have gone for Ainsley. You've got to try and match their energy. Look, their midfield tends to be Fabinho sits deep, and then they just have two runners either side. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but footballing quality isn't the most important in their midfield. Like with us, Oxlade-Chamberlain was a sort of quality ball player. With them, he's someone who's energetic and runs a lot.
Yeah, he does run a
Same
lot,
with
yeah.
Henderson looks great for Liverpool because he runs about. I'm not saying these guys are shit, but their main
Mm.
aspect that they use at Liverpool in any of their midfielders is their engine really. So I think he's bringing Ains on to try and match that. Um, And because El Neni, I know his engine is quite good, but where he sits deep, it's easy to just play in front of and around.
Yeah,
And the
okay.
ball's not going to go forward. Remember, you're 2-0 down, so you've got to try and secure the game, but you've also got to try and get back in it at the same time. And at least with Ainge, you get some form of momentum, you get the running off the ball, you get the pace. So you can't just. I mean, if you bring on El Neni, you basically say we're settling for 2-0 and we hope it stays this way.
I hope it's not. Yeah, yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No. Where are we? Salah goes up 3-0. Mane, Salah. He is. He left Roma and went to Liverpool, but mate, I was stirring a Liverpool fan up, a mate of mine, after the game, and I said, it's good you got a Roma legend, but Jesus, fuck me, his game has gone levels above compared to what he was at Roma. Mo Salah, like he's got to be the best player in the Premier League this season by far.
By I mean by an absolute distance. I actually thought he was pretty poor on the day, to be honest.
Really?
The goal, yeah, the goal has nothing to do with him. Uh, like as in he taps it in from a few yards, and yeah, he's obviously done well to keep up with the run and keep up with the ball, but he's not. There's no quality in terms of the goal. Like this is not me saying Salah is bad. He's
Yeah, yeah,
clearly the
yeah,
best player in
yeah,
the league this season, not even close. But I
yeah.
thought he had a
But
really
you
bad
thought
day,
he
to
had
be
better day?
honest.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I mean he didn't do
He
anything.
did have
In
an
terms of
assist, didn't he, early? Or did he
no,
get that was offside, wasn't it? Earlier. Yeah, no, he
I
didn't have the
don't
assist.
know.
Yeah, I thought it might have been an offside one. Um,
But yeah, like yeah, just
yeah.
I thought he wasn't involved, and there was a few times where there was like a break in behind, and he got outpaced, and even if the ball only went off for a throw, you usually think, oh, Salah in behind, sort of that's it, like goal or big chance. So I just
Mm.
didn't think he was very good on the day. But look, you say you don't think he's very good. That he's their best player. They won 4-0 and he scored. So fucking
Yeah.
what would happen if he was good?
I
The guy,
know,
in all fairness, that's where. So we was defending pretty deep and doing it pretty well. It was weird because at 2-0 down, you're sitting there thinking White and Gabriel were probably two of our better players. Um, and Ramsdale, obviously.
right?
But then we had to push up because we were trying to be front foot and get back in the game, and we got absolutely picked off. That third goal is top class. It starts with Allison,
Yeah.
poor from I think it was Tommy. Someone they were never going to get to Simicast, but they went tight enough to take themselves out of the game, but they gave themselves no chance of winning the ball. And then from then on, it was just a domino effect. Someone that meant we couldn't. We were short on Yotta, so Ben White was half and half, and then the ball flicks over him, and you're never going to catch Mane. And then obviously Mane runs and squares it for Salah open goal. It's top class from them, but again, it's a few little mistakes from us, but one that they were kind of born of the situation, but they were still poor. But again, it's like so minor. But I thought it was a really good goal from Liverpool, to be fair.
Last goal. Trying to think what it was. Oh, the assist, the crossover, wasn't it? There was the cross from
Yeah,
Trent. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, they make a little subs, couple of subs. Yotta goes off. Chahar, the Ox goes off. Henderson comes on, and Minamino, is that it? Minamino.
Minamino.
Minamino, he comes on, and I think it was the first touch, and he gets a goal. And I'm like, fucking hell. That's why I got Alexander Trent Arnold in my fantasy team because, yeah, he's just fucking good. Like the kid is just he's good and lethal. Like okay, the bloke who scored the goal, like it may have been anyone there, but that cross is. And I look at
But
Arsenal and I think, who do you blame there? And I'm like, shit, like, fuck, you've just turned the sins out.
it was
Like,
again. It was where we'd been defending high up, and the game got too stretched. They had an overload on that side. Again, look, I'm not disputing anything you said about Trent, but I didn't think it was a particularly good ball. Well, I mean, it was an easy ball. It was a good ball, but it wasn't a hard ball. As in, they had the overlap. Salah slid him in. It was an easy square ball across. Um, yeah, I just thought by that time, I don't know if it was we were knackered or we'd half given up or we were just too stretched, but it was too easy. The overlaps they weren't getting in the first 30 to 40 minutes. that wasn't the only time they were overlapping non-stop. Um, and yeah, they obviously goals come from it.
Mate, I but just to sum it up, we lose the game 4-0. I really, I'm not disappointed with Arsenal. I know a lot of Arsenal fans are thinking, how can you not be disappointed? You just lost the game 4-0, right? But we were thereabouts for 30 minutes, okay? This is a fucking magnificent Liverpool team. Like, okay, you could look back at last season and the season before and things and think, well, fuck, they're Champions League. They've won the Premier League and they are a force to be reckoned with this year again. Like, I can't remember my predictions. I can't even remember where I put Liverpool, but I think that was probably one or two. It'd be City or Liverpool. So we, thereabouts, we could have grabbed a couple of opportunities. However, if Ramsdale didn't save a lot of fucking magnificent saves, they could have been 4-0 up by half time. So I totally understand both arguments. We have a young Arsenal team. Saka, Smith Rowe, Sambi, Tommy, Tavares, they would have been shitting themselves, mate. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Like, Salah and Mane running at you, fuck me, get me out of here. Like, I don't want to be here today. And this is a young team, and you've said it plenty of times on this show. I think I've said it plenty of times, is these are going to be some of the results we get, man. Like, I'm not going to say this is an Arteta fault. I'm not going to say this is a player fault. This is just one of them games for me that I think could have, didn't, move on to next week. Unlucky boys. We got our asses handed to us, but it is what it is. That's kind of summing me up, buddy.
Yeah, look, the bounce back's all important, and there is a couple of positive. Well, not really so much from our point, but if you'd have said to any of us, first of all, after 12 games, you're going to be fifth, we'd have all taken it. If you also would have said that
Yeah.
you're going to go to Anfield, and it's basically a free hit because of the other results. Every team around us dropped points apart from Tottenham, but they were so many points behind us that they've still not overtaken us. So we've gone to Anfield and come out in the same position as we've gone in.
Yeah.
So
Great
that's
point.
it's like we've had that as a free game because it's not affected our table. I mean, look, Man United lost, Leicester lost, West Ham lost, someone else can't remember who it was, but they've lost. So we've not lost ground on anyone, and we've got going to Anfield is what probably the second hardest fixture or the hardest fixture in the league,
Yep.
and we've got that out of the way. So yeah, look, we've lost a little bit on goal difference, which is obviously not ideal, but at the end of the season, I don't think it's going to come down to goal difference. So to get that out of the way as a free hit, look, and it's not our doing, it's the results of all the other teams. But as I said, if you'd have said to me on Friday night before any of the games kicked off, you're still going to be the same amount of points in front of Man United, the same amount of points behind West Ham, and basically you're going to be in the same position after the
Mm.
final whistle, I'd have taken that and I'd have thought, oh, that means we're probably going to get at least a point or maybe win at Anfield. Like, obviously we haven't. We've got Dick 4-0, but our league position's not been damaged. So there's a
Yep.
couple of positives, and there's a few positives in our especially our early performance. But the game isn't 35 minutes long, so I don't want to sit here going, oh, but we were really good for 35 minutes and we done ABC because that's not worth anything.
Yeah. Could have been, like I said, it could have been, but it just wasn't. It just wasn't. So I'm not. I've seen blokes on fucking Twitter, and I don't know whether they do it for fucking hits and likes and what, but Jesus, grow a set of nuts and grow the fuck up, because I don't get your, have a debate, but don't just sit there and say, oh, he's shit, like, it's just one fucking hell, like. I'm, and I actually used your little analogy with a mate of mine the other on the weekend after the game. Okay, if we and you said it like, and it's spot on, mate. I hate giving you brownie points, but I took the credit for this one. Like, if we lose against the top five teams and we win all the other games below us, or the teams are below us, we're thereabouts at the end of the season in the top four. So, okay, you lose the Chelsea, you lose the Man City, you lose the Liverpool. West Ham, you could throw them in now because they're fourth. Win all the rest. We're thereabouts, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've always said that's the way to go about it for years if you're looking at top four.
Mm.
But obviously, football doesn't work like that. But it's when people always go on about the record versus other Big Six teams, they don't really matter. It's vanity. It looks good.
Yeah, it does. Okay, let's do a 3-2-1, and then that's about us, brother. I'm going to read a couple of comments, and then that's a pretty quick show, and I think it's about done. I haven't got much more to say, unless you got anything to add on that game, mate.
No, I've got nothing
No,
else.
no. Okay, 3-2-1.
Yeah, fuck the rules. I'm giving Ramsdale 6.
I agree.
He gets 3, 2, and 1.
Can I do that too?
No.
I have to though. You have to. I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there looking at Aubameyang. Did nothing. But was it Aubameyang's fault? No. Lacazette. Oh fuck. He, goes back deep, gets fucked in 60 minutes. He's fucked. I look at the up team, and I just two. Who do I do two to? El Neni because he looked nice on the bench. Like I don't know. I said El Neni looks nice on the bench. Fuck me. Yeah, Ramsdale for me. I'm doing the same. Fuck you. Okay, buddy, that's about us. It was a very quick show today because it's no point rambling on. Who have we got next week? Do you know? I haven't even
Yeah,
looked.
Newcastle Saturday morning for us.
Newcastle. Yep. Okay. Just quickly, going to pick your brain. Who's going to get the Manchester United job?
I'm torn between Carrick or Pochettino.
Yeah. Yeah, Poch's come. Them rumours have come strong overnight, haven't they? Real
Yeah,
strong.
he's kind of sort of distanced himself from them, but
Mm.
it wouldn't surprise me.
Rumours earlier in the week, Big Brucey's coming back. Well, what do you think there? Talking shit?
Yeah, I mean they weren't real rumors, were they?
No. I did find some information about it. I was laughing. I was actually taking the piss in the chat saying that Brucey will get the job. And I woke up the next morning, I think it was Telegram or the Express or something you guys have over there. And I'm like, I'll be fucked. I got this right. I'll be fucked. uh, yeah. So anyway, I think Potch or maybe. I think there's still a little bit of smoke around Zidane.
He said he wouldn't do it. Said he's not interested, and he also doesn't speak English, which is always an issue. I said to my betting customers yesterday that the only way I can see PSG letting Pochettino go is if they've got someone big, a big name lined up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Zidane, PSG, Pochettino, Man United.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad. Yeah, could do. Okay, those of you who listen each week, I've just made a couple of little changes. Patreon, I'm closing the Patreon down and bringing everything over to Buy Me a Beer or Buy Me a Coffee is the other platform. And basically, same everything, it just Patreon smashes me in fees. So, but anyway, you'll see that. So anyone who wants to join the Telegram chat, support the show and help me, an old pensioner battling to rake up a couple of dollar coins. Help me pay for this wonderful show that you all listen to and support. Digi Scott, he said, must have left a message on YouTube. He said, too late for me this time. Have a good run, Tez and Toby.
He's taking a piss.
Yeah. Is he? I was going to say, does he know your name's Tony?
No, taking a piss.
Taking a piss. Okay, cheers, mate. Thank you, and thank you, everybody. See ya.
Cheers.